Hey y'all, thanks for tuning back in with us again at Hidden Creek. So this week I want to talk to you about wedding insurance. Is it necessary? Should you get it? Why do you need it? What does it cover? All those kinds of questions a lot of y'all have had. So I'm going to go over wedding insurance options with you. So number one, do you need wedding insurance? My advice is always yes. Whenever you buy something that is worth a lot of money, your house, your car, a ring, your honeymoon, you should probably get insurance. Anything that is worth a substantial amount of money, it is very much worth it to get the insurance policy to protect yourself with that object. So right now I have WedSafe pulled up. WedSafe is just one of the options that you can go through. I also have a pamphlet here for ewedinsurance.com. So there are a bunch of different options out there that you can get coverage through. These are just the two options that I'm the most familiar with and the ones that I refer people to. So why would you need wedding insurance? Well, let me go over a couple options with you that they list on their website that they cover. So 10 inches of rain fell in Virginia. State Highway 10 was closed. The bridal party members and guests couldn't get to the reception site. The band, food, cake, flowers, everything had to be canceled. The road to get to the venue was shut down. You couldn't get there. So they refunded the couple's entire amount that they spent on the wedding, which was $25,000. That's a lot of money that if you didn't have insurance, you're just out. So that's really scary to think about. A lot of y'all probably know it was on the news and everything here a couple weeks ago. There was a venue that closed down and they had locations all over, not just in Texas, but every state. They had multiple venues and these brides were just told like, hey, we went out of business, your wedding's canceled, sorry, like you don't get your money back or anything. And I feel so bad for those brides. If any of y'all are watching, contact us, we'll help you out. I just feel really bad for them because they're not getting any of their money back and everything was already booked. So what if your wedding was in like 2 weeks and you just got told, hey, we're canceling, we're closing, sorry, and then you didn't have insurance? You'd be really upset, understandably. So with insurance, if you would have that, that would have covered the cost of everything that you would have been out. So that way you're not losing all of this money. So basically you're saying, you're sitting there probably thinking like, okay, yeah, if I have insurance, I'll get my money back, but that doesn't mean I get my wedding. So what I would tell you is that having insurance and getting your money back, yes, in some situations, like the one where the road was flooded and the wedding was canceled, I get that they didn't have their wedding that day like they had planned, but they got all their money back. So they did get to replan their wedding for another time, whether it be the same vision, the same florist, the same photographer, the same venue, all that kind of stuff, or maybe they chose to completely redo everything and start fresh. But you at least have that option. Whereas if you didn't have insurance, you're just out. And I don't have another $35,000 to spend on a wedding. I don't know about you. If you do, great. But most people don't. So it's just really upsetting for those people who don't have wedding insurance. Okay guys, so some more circumstances where wedding insurance would come in handy would be the groom experienced chest pain. He went to the hospital and was diagnosed with a heart condition that forced him to postpone the wedding. So in that situation, they refunded $28,907.45. So everything that the couple spent on the wedding, they got back because this was a medical emergency and they obviously had to reschedule the wedding. You can't get through your wedding with chest pain. That's very scary. So it was absolutely a necessary situation. Hurricane Katrina, that canceled a couple of weddings. This refunded all of those couples' amounts. There was a bride's father. He had a bicycle accident and broke his pelvis. So the ceremony was postponed. They refunded all of that money. I mean, this website literally goes over everything. It even goes over the situation like Noah's where the venue falls through. So the venue construction prevented the wedding from being held. It means the venue just had construction going on. so they refunded that money. This one said the reception hall went out of business. They refunded that money. All this kind of stuff. It even covers other vendors. So like your photographer went out of business, covered that. Hair and makeup vendor didn't show up, and so it covered that. The bridal shop filed bankruptcy before the dress was delivered, so they got their money back for that. I could go on and on. If you want to go, it's wedsafe.com. They have a ton of different situations that you can read through and figure out if your situation would fall in there to get your money back. You do have to purchase the wedding insurance before a situation happens in order for it to be applicable. So how far in advance do you have to get wedding insurance? Well, every site is different. eWed Insurance actually advertises on here that you can purchase insurance up to 1 day before your wedding. So if you're watching this video and your wedding is tomorrow, you can still go buy this policy. So not only does it cover cancellation, people going out of business, all that kind of stuff, but it also covers liability. So if you are serving alcohol at your event, you are liable for your guest because you are giving them that alcohol and this is your event. So what happens if someone, say, gets drunk and falls on the floor and cracks their head open? Well, you would hope that they would be a good friend and just take care of themselves. But some people would come to you with those medical bills and say, hey, you served me the alcohol that got me drunk. I fell at your event. These are my bills. And you technically are liable for that. And you are liable for paying those bills. If you had insurance, insurance would cover that guest, medical bills, everything. If they took an ambulance ride, anything like that, insurance will cover that. Personally, I think it's worth it just for your peace of mind to know that if anything crazy happens, you never know. What if there's a freak snowstorm, a tornado, a monsoon, whatever, somebody gets hurt, somebody falls, somebody gets in a car accident when they leave the wedding, anything. You want to make sure that you are covered. This is supposed to be a really happy, special day, but things can happen that are unfortunate and you want to make sure that you are covered. So with that being said, and wedding insurance really being something I'm passionate about and I think everyone should get, you're probably wondering, well, yeah, but it probably costs a fortune. It doesn't. So I actually have it pulled up right here. If you wanted to get a $2 million liability policy, and I put in here for a 200-person guest count. It changes based on your guest count. This is estimated off of 200 people. $2 million liability policy would cost you $263. And then that's the liability portion. If you scroll down, it shows you your cancellation / postponement limit. So this would be how much you spent on your entire wedding. The average wedding in DFW cost about $35,000. So if I go to $35,000, the cost for that insurance would be $262. So $262 to have full cancellation, full postponement, and then $263 to have a $2 million liability option. I think that's worth it. That's like almost $600 and your wedding was what, $35,000? That's so worth it. Or you could eventually get sued for millions. It's a no-brainer in my opinion. I definitely think that having insurance would keep you stress-free in case those options did come up. So again, WedSafe, eWed Insurance, just two of the options I'm familiar with, but there are so many more out there. You can just Google them. I would advise you to get insurance more than 1 day before your wedding. I would tell you probably to go get it at least 3 months in advance just to make sure everything is smooth and covered in case anything comes up. But I hope this video helped you out. I really suggest getting insurance. It is totally worth it. And thank y'all so much for watching. As always, be sure to subscribe and like our video so that way we know we're doing a good job. Thank you so much. Bye.